maybe I haven't talked about it a whole lot on the channel, but I love wrestling video games. They've been a part of my life for pretty much my entire life, for as long as I can remember. I've been a wrestling fan for a very long time, over 10 years now, and I've been just as big as a fan of the video games as well. Lately, they've been pretty bad. If you've seen my 2K20 video, I literally broke my controller over that game. It was a disaster of a game, and I think that's part of the reason why 2K is taking a step back and they're not making a 2K21. But they're also not making 2K21 because of the coronavirus, obviously. It's just not possible right now. But they are making WWE 2K22 as the next game, since 2K21 has been canceled. And they had put out forums and everything for people to vote on what they want in the game. I have my own list. These are the things that I personally want in the game. First of all, starting out at number 1, General Manager mode. Obviously, I think this is the most requested thing that people want in the game, is General Manager mode. Hasn't been in the game for a very, very long time. I know it's got to be over 10 years now since there's been a General Manager mode in the game. It was in the last time I played that was, oh my goodness, so long ago. We need it back in the game because the last time we were able to play it was like SmackDown vs. Raw 2008 or 9 or something like that, and then they took it out. Even THQ took it out when eventually. So I never really understood why the game, the mode was ever taken out. It was like the most popular mode in the game. I realized THQ at the time was stopped making it to make room for like Road to WrestleMania and stuff like that. But that's not a mode anymore. They're not doing a Road to WrestleMania anymore. So why not bring back GM mode when general managers were pretty much being used a lot? I mean, they're not really being used a whole lot right now. Like, we don't really know who's in charge. Technically, like an on-screen authority figure, technically. They don't really do that right now, but still. General Manager mode is a very popular mode that people want in the game. So I don't know why they can't bring that back. You know, let it so you can run Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and compete with the other shows. Have a draft. Have a certain amount of money that you're able to spend on certain wrestlers. You have to be very careful with your money and everything like that. I think stuff like that is great. Like a management game. I love management games. Like, those are sort of some of my favorite kinds of games just in general. I love management games. Like anything like I started playing 2 Point Hospital. That's a great management game. Stuff like that. I love stuff like that. So integrating that into wrestling and letting me just be the boss and in charge of the shows and in charge of money and all that stuff, and basically be Vince McMahon would be pretty awesome. General Manager mode is definitely the most requested thing, I would say, for most people, and it's also the most requested thing that I have. But going on to number 2, more match types. So we've had your basic matches for the last God knows how long now. We've had, you know, of course, one-on-one, tag team, triple threat, fatal 4-way. I think they recently added like a fatal 5-way. I think that was like the most recent. I could be wrong on that. There's, of course, 6-man, steel cage, Hell in a Cell, Elimination Chamber, Royal Rumble. You got all your basic stuff. I have a list here. These are the matches that I wrote down that they need to put in the game. Ambulance, Casket Match, Buried Alive, First Blood, War Games, Inferno, and Special Guest Referee. With Ambulance Match, Yeah, we don't really see it a whole lot. It's kind of a... I honestly think that an ambulance match is kind of a stupid match type. I've never really cared for ambulance matches. But they've been used in WWE before, and people like that match, so why not put it in the game? Casket match. I know they don't do a casket match very often. The last one they did was... Actually, it wasn't that long ago, but it was the first time they did a casket match in forever. But this is a video game, man. You can put a casket match in the game, and people will not complain. Buried Alive, obviously people want that mode, that match back in the game. First Blood. This sort of, it goes into my next thing, which I'll talk about in a second, which is more blood. War Games. They do NXT War Games every year. Why is it not in the game? I don't understand it. Inferno. Yeah, I know. They don't do those matches anymore. Who cares? It's a video game. And Special Guest Referee. There was no reason why Special Guest Referee was taken out. It's one of the most fun matches you can do. You can get together with 2 other people, and they can wrestle each other. You could be the referee. You could pick favorites, or you can prank the other person and have arguments. It's great. Please put Special Guest Referee. That is like that's if you're gonna put any match, if you can only put one match type in the game, put that in the game, please. We could have a blast with that. So number 3 on my list is more blood, which goes into First Blood matches. They've pretty much taken blood out of the game because of it's PG, right? It's the shows on Monday, Friday, Wednesday nights are supposed to be PG. They don't really have blood anymore other than some special occasions, sort of used as a shock factor, like when Shayna Baszler bit Becky Lynch, or, you know, when Roman Reigns got busted wide open against Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 34. Stuff like that. But it's a video game, man. Like, seriously, like, they have sort of had blood in the game, but it's very unnoticeable. It's just kind of like little specks of blood on the forehead or on the face or something. You're not incredibly noticeable at all. In the old games, in the SmackDown vs. Raw series, they had... I mean, you could have people bleed all over the mat, and it would get everywhere. And there's so much blood all over their face. Like, I understand that they're trying to be PG, and they really can't do that stuff on the shows anymore, but in the video game world, it's fine, because the game was rated T for teen at that point, when there was buckets of blood in the game, and now the game's still rated T for teen, so why not put buckets of blood in the game? Unless it's risking it being rated M for mature, which I don't see why it would, because it hasn't before. Have it as an option. So say parents don't get angry when their kid is playing the game and there's blood. Have it in the game, right? Have it so you can just bleed buckets of blood in the game, but have the option off, so for anybody who wants blood in their matches can go in and change it to on and make it so there's blood in the game, and you can use First Blood match once you unlock it. So blood. We want more blood in the game. Of course, it's not super important, but blood is always a really fun thing to play with in the old games. Number 4. Focus less on Legends and more on Now. Yes, I know people like to play with the Legends, the guys from the 80s and 90s that aren't wrestling anymore and they're retired, and put them up against today's wrestlers, right? They want to play Hulk Hogan against freaking Roman Reigns or whatever they want to do. I get it. I don't personally play with Legends a whole lot. I try to stick with the Now because I want to make it as realistic as possible. But when you focus less on Legends, you get more time to make the current wrestlers look good. We haven't had a decent model of a lot of wrestlers in a long time because they put so much effort into putting Legends in the game. We can put Legends in the game. I don't have a problem with putting Legends in the game, just not so many. You know, there's so many wrestlers that they put in the game, And that's the thing that they always hype up every year. Oh, we've got 289 freaking wrestlers in the game. It's like the most ever. I don't care about that. They're mostly just full of wrestlers that I will never play with. Most of them I don't care about. Some of them I've never even heard of. Like, who's this guy? Apparently he was some wrestler from like 1984, and I didn't know he existed. So focus less on that stuff. Focus more on the current wrestlers that are on TV every week and are progressing storylines and whatnot. Put more effort towards them and getting them decent character models that look like them. Because some guys look good, some guys don't. Okay? Next. Number 5. This one's a huge one for me. Abandon VC. If you don't know what VC is, it's the currency that you use you've been using the last few years in WWE 2K games. VC, you would get VC by winning matches, doing universe mode, crap like that. You would earn VC, and you can use that VC if you get enough to unlock wrestlers and championships and arenas and whatnot. Screw that. Walk away from that. That's garbage. I've never liked the VC thing. I wish they would go back, and this is what I would do. Go back to when you would have to earn all that stuff through the Road to WrestleMania mode. Like 2K WWE 2K14 was great because you could unlock all those guys by doing that Road to WrestleMania or the 30 Years of WrestleMania mode. If any of you guys remember, I love that mode, even though it really just goes back in time and it makes you do matches that have already happened. That was a good and fun way to make it so you can unlock wrestlers. And then there was other ways you would unlock some other things. Like if I wanted to unlock Eddie Guerrero, I had to win like 30 matches on hard difficulty or something, or 50 matches on hard difficulty, and that would make me want to go and actually unlock Eddie Guerrero. And I did unlock Eddie Guerrero because I love Eddie Guerrero, and I would actually play as Eddie Guerrero. So I actually did go back and win 30 matches on legendary difficulty or whatever it was. So walk away from VC and add it into make it so that if there's gonna be a story mode in the game this year, or in the game when it comes out, which we don't really need a story mode. I know people like it, so they're probably gonna still put it in the game. Have it so as you progress through the story mode, you'll unlock more and more. That would be great. That's how you could unlock your legends, okay? And there wouldn't be a whole lot of them either. There would be just the big time guys, right? So, walk away from the VC garbage. No, I don't care about it. I don't even use it because it's just a waste of time. Number 6, create a finisher mode, please. If there's another thing that this game desperately needs, is more creation modes. Create a finisher needs to be in the game. It's sort of I remember in the older games, you could add a bunch of moves together and have it as your finisher, so you could do 300 choke slams if you wanted to. You could do 3 choke slams, a tombstone, and whatever else you wanted to do. You could just have a finisher that lasted 30 seconds complete. It was great. And I don't understand why it's not in the game anymore. It's not. It's like special guest referee mode. It's a thing. A match. It's a thing that shouldn't have been taken out of the game in the first place. It should always be in the game at all times, every year. Number 7. Import music. This seems like the least likely of all of these here that I have. I have one other one that is probably even less likely to happen. But importing music is a thing you got to do in the old games with your created superstars, or even with the regular wrestlers. You can import music into your game to have as your entrance music. And I don't know why it's not in the game anymore. It doesn't make any sense to me. Well, I mean, I get it because of copyright issues, but, like, let us do it in a way of, like, oh, you can import music, but you have to do it your own way. You have to figure it out. Like, I don't know, you find an MP3 file on your computer and you put it onto a USB drive and then you stick it in your console or whatever, and then you can import it that way. That would be great. Then I could have the music I want for my created wrestler, which I haven't really been making a created wrestler lately because the creations are garbage. So the last few years I haven't even made a created wrestler in the game. So import music. It seems unlikely, probably isn't going to happen. And it's not super important, but I know I would like it. A lot of other people would like it. Number 8. Now this one was one that I saw on Murph's video where he talked about WWE 2K22. Somebody suggested this mode, and I thought it was a really good idea, and I don't know why I never thought of it. If any of you guys remember Create a Story mode, that mode was great. I would spend hours just dicking around on Create a Story mode, where you just make scenes, you can make matches, you can make full stories out of it. You can add dialogue by just typing in dialogue. It was great. I would mess with that stuff all the time. My brother would make them, and we would play each other's, and like, it was so much fun. I want an online Create a Story. Have it so you can play your own as well, but have it so you can make a story and upload it to like a community creations, and then you can title it and add a picture to it so you can put it out there for other people to play. Like, if I could, you know how much, like, how many hours of content that would put into the game just by adding that into the game? So many people would be making their own stories with scenes and dialogue and matches and all that, and you can put it into the game, have it in community creations so you can play other people's creations. You know how awesome that would be? So for people who are not as creative as others, and don't know how to make a good story, they can play other people's, right? That would be fantastic. You know how awesome that would be with an online Create a Story? That would be so cool. I hope that is the one thing that seems even less likely than importing music into the game, but would be an absolutely great thing if they added. I would love that. If they added online Create a Story and GM mode into this game, oh, I would be set. I would play the game forever. And finally, number 9, create a show. I want to be able to create a show with my own custom arena, with all my custom logos, custom matches, custom, make your own wrestlers and stuff, and have them on your own show. I want to be able to compete with WWE in the game. I want to be able to be like an AEW, right? And compete with the other shows, and then each week, depending on how good your show is, you get more and more viewers on TV, and you see if you can beat WWE in viewers and in ratings. That would be great. If you could make your own show with its own name, its own wrestlers, its own arena, it's on its own night, that would be great. Create a show is another thing. Is another thing that I think would just be great for the series. If 2K adds, they don't even need to add all of this. If they add a few of these things, like the online Create a Story, general manager mode, create a show, get rid of that VC garbage. If more blood, focus more on the now and not so much on Legends. If they did all of these things, the game would be great. Of course, they've got other issues as well. Animations suck. graphics suck, hair in the game is terrible, especially for women with longer hair in the game, that their hair goes nuts all the time. There's glitches galore in the game. Obviously, after they're gonna have plenty of time to fix those things, so it's not nearly a problem. And then they can focus on these things, okay? Focus on fixing the things that are broken, and then fix the things that people actually want in the game. Do all that, the game could be great, and people will really, really, really enjoy it. So, that's my video on pretty much my 2K22 wish list. Let me know what you guys would put in the game. How many of these do you agree with? Subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys next time.